With a 13-point loss to the Grizzlies last night, who were playing without Ja Morant. LA had the entire Big Three intact. They got dominated in the second half. Afterward, Frank Vogel addressing a disheartening loss.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm surprised. I've seen it happen with our group this year. You know what I mean? We have to keep our foot on the gas and continue to play. You know, you would hope that it's not like that's not the case. But, you know, we have seen it with this group, and there was just too much of a casualness to our approach. You know, our biggest battle, our biggest problem this year is consistency.
It doesn't sound good. So, Jalen Rose, the question is this. Are we watching LeBron James' championship window rapidly closing?
Yes, we are. And he's already got his championship with the Lakers, and I would not be surprised if that's his only one. And that's okay. He's in his 19th season. They had to mortgage a lot of their future to put this Big Three together in THT. You lose Randall, Ingram, Ball, Kuzma, and Caruso. Those are all young people they lost in order to put this team together. This iteration of the Los Angeles Lakers ain't winning the West, ain't winning the championship. Not
By the way, Dylan Brooks was out last night too. Maybe their second, certainly no lower than their third best player on Memphis. Look, I think that the window is almost shut in LA. And I believe LeBron can come back somewhere else. He's moved three times now. Hey, listen.
No.
You know what? Oscar Robertson.
You're not doing
great
that.
Oscar Robertson. What happened at the end of his career? He went to Milwaukee. Nobody thought that was possible. He won with Kareem. Even Bill Walton, reduced roles, so not the same as Oscar.
In Boston.
Went to Boston. I'm not saying LeBron's going to beat anybody's sixth man. I'm saying LeBron can go somewhere else, team with other people, and still win. But I don't see it happening in this iteration in LA.
You see this, Stephen A? You see the possibility of LeBron finishing somewhere besides the Lakers?
Anything's possible. The brother left South Beach to go back to Lake Erie. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, if you do that, you can leave for anywhere. Now, I would hope that he does it, but I will say this. He ain't winning the championship in L.A. If you got a shot, this is the year. And as far as I'm concerned, it ain't going to happen because at least two teams, possibly four teams in the West are better than them. And that doesn't even take into account the Eastern Conference. Ain't happening.
Then let me rephrase the question to you here. If indeed this championship opportunity for LeBron has closed, who should he be looking at for that?
Himself. Himself. LeBron James is LeBron James. Russell Westbrook is there because LeBron James signed off on it. Anthony Davis is there because LeBron James wanted that badly, signed off on it. The players that are gone, all the people that were mentioned by Jalen Rose, they're not gone if LeBron James said, what are we doing? Don't get rid of those dudes. I'm not saying that he's the one that went into the front office and said, do it. But the bottom line is they would not have done it if they didn't have his blessing. And so as a result of that, when you're the leader, you're the face of the franchise, you're a four-time champion, four-time league MVP, you've been to 10 NBA finals. Everybody reveres your basketball IQ, not just your greatness as a talent and an athlete. People are going to listen to you. And you voiced your concerns and you voiced your opinions. This is your team. And there's nobody to look at more than him. They will look at Frank Vogel. I will repeat what I said the other day. Frank Vogel will be fired if this continues. Lakers go by a different standard. They will not live with that, but he will not deserve it. It's not his fault. It's on the players, and LeBron is obviously at the top of that list.
Fault?
It doesn't have to be.
How many people have won forever in the NBA in the history of it? One, Bill Russell, who walked out of a champagne shower into his last great walkaway. We thought Michael had done that before. If we discount the Wizards, then it's the two of them. That's it. It's time up. The window's closed because it's closed. It's really nobody's fault, Steve. They're not good enough.
Anybody's fault.
Okay, but they're not good enough.
No, it's got to be.
This Laker team.
They put this team. It may not be good enough, but it's not what their expectation was. They put this team together and all these Hall of Famers with the intention of winning this year. That is someone's fault if it's not happening.
Absolutely. A few things. Number one, when you're an older team, that means you're going to struggle throughout the regular season. Two, way too many turnovers. No movement offensively. And we talked about AD needing to play center. Negative point differential when he's at the center this year.
By the way, Anthony Davis not in the lineup tonight. He's got a sore knee as the Lakers take on Oklahoma City, which suddenly is
they just have a come on in type sign. And it's bad because they're not doing the little things that matter. And I'm tired of talking about the Lakers for the simple fact that they win one game and we're like, oh, did they hit it? Did they hit their stride? They look good together. Then all of a sudden they go and lose. So I'm to the point right now that I'm tired of giving the Lakers energy until they win about 5 straight or go above 500. I'm not giving them no more energy. Like, this is not Anthony Davis' first time talking. He's been talking a lot about, we need to change things. We need to be tougher, our identity and all this. And then you go into Memphis. And I don't want to discredit the Grizzlies because they've been playing well. But without Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks, and you lose by double figures, it's unexcusable.
Are you saying they're playing like Pomeranians? Didn't he bring it up earlier this week?
Yeah, I got a Pomeranian, but he might bite though. At least I wouldn't even say they playing like him.
Well, I was going to say, you have these adorable, teeny little French bulldogs.
I know,
Are they at least one of those?
Yeah, I mean.
Are the Lakers at least your little French bulldogs?
Yeah, right. They're expensive, but they really ain't gonna bite. So you're right.
My goodness. All right, well, Chanae. Frank Vogel said that the team was playing just way too casually.
Yeah.
What does he mean by that, and how does that play out on the court?
Casually means turnovers and unforced errors, and the Lakers had 22 turnovers, and that is absolutely unacceptable against a team that not necessarily is going to go out there and you're like, oh, they've got this defender, and check out this tape. This was just a bad pass. It's almost like you look past the defender. You cannot do that, especially at the top of the key, because why? Easy bucket on the other end. Again, bad pass here, bad pass now again in the pick and roll. Now watch this and read. Dwight Howard is not even looking at the ball. He has a mismatch. He's looking at the rim thinking Russ is going to shoot. So that's just, bad communication through play. And then lastly, bad ball handling, loose with the ball. This is why, Frank Vogel says casual. Now look at this, 4 defenders back versus 2, maybe 1.5. And you can't even stop the ball in transition?
Ooh.
These are mistakes that teams that have real aspirations and don't want to just say, oh, let's just turn it on. Like mistakes that you nip in the bud right now.
Right.
And that's, Perk, you're absolutely right. We've heard AD step to the podium and say, this was the wake up, and then come back. And I do like that he's vocal, but at some point we have to see it with their play. How bad do you want it? We're seeing so many cases of young players in the NBA stepping up with opportunities while people are sidelined.
Got to tighten to get back to biting, right, Perk?
Yeah, bars. Bars.
All right. So, Ramona, what are you hearing about how they fix this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I was texting with Rob Pelinka last night after the game, just to take the temperature, right? How worried are we? And I think there is a sense, they had a great game against Boston. You saw what that team can be. But last night, he just said, I thought we lacked an edge. We lacked an edge. I mean, that's another word for casual, okay? Yeah. And, they're back prepping for Oklahoma City tonight. Let's see if they can beat the Thunder, because they haven't this year. Right? I mean, they're second night of a back-to-back. And the thing that got me about this game, you said it before, 22 turnovers. That led to 27 points for Memphis. Memphis was on the second night of a back-to-back. The Lakers were at the beginning of a road trip, should have been rested, coming off a big win against Boston in L.A. So, look, I host radio here in L.A., guys, and all we were talking about yesterday was, have the Lakers turned the corner? Ooh, you finally saw glimpses. Mm-hmm. At some point, people just get tired of waiting for you to show some consistency. You have veterans on that team. You have guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis. They're just not consistent, and I don't want the talk is the talk at this point, but we've heard speculation about Frank Vogel. That's external. I can tell you there is internal speculation about whether this is on him, if a coaching change would change any of that. Right now, that's not where they're looking, because casual, there's their lack of an edge. That's not on the coach.
Right.
Well, but I don't want to act like this is all about just the Lakers and their side of it. I don't want to say, oh, well, the Lakers, they're struggling just so much that the Grizzlies picked off a win. No, the Grizzlies have been impressive. They have won 6 of their last 7 games, and that is all without Ja Morant. So I want to bring in senior writer Zach Lowe. Zach, on your podcast, The Lowe Post, you talked in depth about Memphis. What's been the key to their run without Ja?
Wait a second. I get to talk about the team that won the game without its best player and another starter. I get to talk about that team, the Memphis Grizzlies. Awesome.
You're
what
a
we've
winner.
learned is Jaren Jackson Jr. is making a leap on both ends. That means a huge amount to Memphis' future. Desmond Bane is for real. If Desmond Bane is coming at you in the open court, get out of the way, because he is going to run you over as he lays the ball in on top of your head. And defensively, this team is number 1 in defense in the last 7 or 8 games of the NBA by a lot. They were towards the bottom before. They've gotten some opponents who've been missing key guys. Oklahoma City was missing everybody in their 73-point win. The Mavs were missing KP and Luka, on and on. But this team is defending harder, and I do think a connected question to this is, Can Ja Morant get his defense to the point where they can defend like this when he plays too? Because that's the last part of his game. And look, it's early for Ja Morant. He's already